Good evening. Tonight's the big day, the Paris Marathon video. After 10 years with Parkinson's, at 50. This project began 2 years ago, and I'm ready to share it. This is the video I made this channel for, and I finished it in an official time of 4:50, with about 10 minutes of being stopped, so around 4:40 of actual time. Time isn't the most important thing. The main thing is to finish, obviously. The way the race unfolded was a bit like Parkinson's in general, meaning very complicated. In the end, success is still possible. Parkinson's doesn't set many fixed limits for us. It just makes things harder, but we can still make it in the end. Why did I make this video? Not to sell you books. Not to make you believe I've beaten Parkinson's. But to show what you can do at 50 after 10 years with Parkinson's, meaning at the end of what's called the honeymoon period. Because when you find out you have Parkinson's, they reassure you by saying that for 7 to 10 years, everything will go fine, and you'll be able to live a normal life. And in fact, that doesn't really reassure you, because you wonder what you'll do in 10 years. Then they drop words like, inevitable, it can all move fast. I also got an MDPH file that sat on my desk 7 years. In fact, when you get the news, they knock you down, probably unintentionally. Stress worsens Parkinson's, so being told you'll be fine for 7 to 10 years is still stressful too. In the first few months after the news, you sink. And that's exactly why it can go very fast. It's the way people talk about it that makes it happen. Obviously, Parkinson's can progress very fast if you're stressed. Reality is, even after 10 years, we can still act, prove today. But giving hope, that's a good thing. And I'm not claiming that just because I was able to do it, everyone can do it. By the way, I had a lot of difficulties. For those who are interested, I should make a video to tell the story of how the race went. I don't think that interests everyone. I have to confess something. I cheated. I didn't cheat in the marathon, but I cheated the disease. The prospect of following a treatment that could only accompany my decline didn't appeal to me. I tried everything, read every book claiming to cure Parkinson's. Seems it cured the author's bank accounts, not me. But in the end, it didn't help. So I'm not claiming to have cured Parkinson's either. That's not true at all. I still have Parkinson's. But I cope. I live with it. Diagnosed with Parkinson's 10 years ago. Started treatment 3 years later, after a first disastrous marathon attempt that I finished in 5:30. With no medication, and it really exhausted me beyond what you can imagine. I got to the point where I had to switch to a classic dopa-based treatment. 7 years ago, I was at 300 milligrams a day, and today I've gone up to 400 milligrams a day. I've been relatively stable for a few years, and my secret is high-dose vitamin B1, a treatment first used by Dr. Constantini, initially only with his patients in Italy. Unfortunately, he has since passed away, and thousands of people with Parkinson's use it daily around the world. But nobody dares to say it, and many don't even dare to bring it up with their neurologist, because it's not a mainstream treatment. I didn't believe it at first. My first test 6 years ago, in 2020, failed. It's not a very simple treatment because it's a bit complicated to find the optimal dose for you, which is probably one of the reasons why the treatment is underused and not universally prescribed. The other reason usually given is that you can't distinguish the effect of the medication from a placebo because there haven't been large-scale double-blind studies on it. But that's completely absurd, because I was offered treatments that did have that famous double-blind, placebo-controlled test, but that only produced a 3% or 4% improvement. and they'll tell you that's an effective treatment. When a treatment has hundreds of testimonials showing improvements of 40, 50% or more, and there is no double-blind study, they will tell you it's not certain. Another reason high-dose vitamin B1 treatment stays under the radar is that, obviously, it doesn't make anyone any money, since it's an over-the-counter product, and it doesn't come with a production patent or license. So, commercially, it won't make anyone any money. And so nobody has any incentive to fund a very expensive, large-scale trial on this product. Obviously, patients have an interest in it. On the one hand, to get better, and the low price is clearly an additional argument. All the more so because some Parkinson's treatments cost a lot and are not accessible to everyone, either in France or in other countries. So I'll tell you one thing. When I head out in the morning to train for 30 kilometers, I'm not doing that on a placebo, you know. So I don't need a large-scale double-blind test to know I would not finish a marathon on a placebo. So for me, it's obvious that vitamin B1 works. At least for me and for many others, even if I can't claim it works for everyone. This medal I dedicate to Dr. Constantini and to Daphne Bryan, who is the author of this book. Which isn't mine. So yes, I'm promoting a book, but it's not mine. It's a book that brings together testimonies from people with Parkinson's who have used vitamin B1, and it explains a bit how to find your optimal dosage. And the proceeds from this book are donated to a fund to carry out a double-blind study on the effectiveness of vitamin B1. I still have to say that vitamin B1 is not the only explanation for how well I'm doing after 10 years with Parkinson's. PT helped a lot too. Thanks, Remy, Lenai. But without vitamin B1, I would have a very hard time doing physical therapy sessions as intense as the ones I did to prepare for this marathon. Without vitamin B1, years ago I was a zombie. Today, with B1, I'm a marathoner. A marathon runner with Parkinson's, but a marathon runner nonetheless. Quick note, I didn't make this video to push you into running a marathon with any serious illness, because a marathon is already difficult for a healthy person. So for someone who is ill, it must be very difficult, and it's not necessarily a good idea for everyone. So exercise, do lots of things, and be reasonable. I'll also put a link below to the fundraiser to finance the study on vitamin B1. And if you have questions about this therapy, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. And for those who are interested, I'm also going to make a video about how the race went. You'll find it here. Thank you for listening. And to finish, I'm going to ask you a favor. Please share this video with everyone you know who has loved ones with Parkinson's. And I also want to thank all the volunteers at the Paris Marathon. They were amazing. The first aiders, of course, and the crowd, which was incredible. Thank you all. You deserve the medal. Seb, one last thought. I'm sending you all my remaining strength. Stay strong.